asked me this week to talk about how I actually became homeless during my divorce, because I've never really told the story. So I kicked my Mormon husband of 24 years out after catching him picking up a 19-year-old prostitute in 2018 after 24 years of domestic violence and cheating and just an absolute nightmare. I had been a stay-at-home mom for most of that 24 years, and I did have at the time of our divorce a small job with our windshield company, which he fired me from, leaving me with absolutely no income. I did get a job part-time in a school for $11 an hour. By the summertime of that year, even though Jake was court-ordered to maintain our residence for us, he went in and just canceled the lease. I had never existed financially on my own. Like, I had never been on any of our homes or cars or anything, and I wasn't even on our own condo. So I went into the office one day and they told me that we had to move out because there was a new family moving in, like, that weekend. By that time I had met Kevin, and we knew that summer that we wanted to be in a long-term committed relationship. He was living with a buddy, and it just made sense for the two of us to get a place together. So I had a friend who was remodeling little historic homes in downtown Gilbert, Arizona, and they offered me a home for like $2,000 a month, which was a really affordable price at that point. We had 5 kids that were all moving into our home with us. So we rented that home, and this is probably the biggest heartbreak of my life, because I remember Kevin and I and our kids moving into that home initially, and it was the first house that I had ever picked out on my own ever. And I had this feeling of peace and safety, and we were so excited about our future together, and our kids were just at such a happy little time. The month that we rented the house was the only month that Jake would ever pay alimony and child support. The next month, my half of the rent was due. It was $1,000. Kevin couldn't afford to rent that house without me, and Jake just simply didn't pay alimony and child support. By the 3rd month, we were so behind in rent that we were no longer able to live in that home. And there were some other health things going on that I can't explain in a 3-minute video. So by October of that year, we packed up all of our stuff again and became homeless. You know when you sell a house and you have the hotel or the next house that you're moving into? That day that we packed up our house, we locked the door, gave the keys to the landlords, and then we literally had nowhere to go. Kevin went back to the tiny room with his buddy, but that wasn't an option for me and the kids, and we couldn't afford that either. Brody had all of his belongings that he needed for school packed up in a little Rubbermaid, and he'd stay at one friend's house for 3 days and another friend's house. Chloe bounced around with a couple of her cousins and friends. I slept in my car, slept at friends' houses, slept on couches. We moved in with family in January of that year. Then we moved into our tiny guest house in March of 2020.
For a long time, there's been this quiet assumption floating around that divorce is some kind of financial reset button. The idea that you can walk away from a marriage, take a big payout, and somehow come out ahead without actually building anything yourself. On paper, it sounds easy. In reality, it doesn't always work like that.
Why is the house still in his mama's name? I just got back from reviewing a divorce petition. I asked the client specifically, is the house in your name? He's like, yeah, it's been my house since my mother passed away. Me and my wife have been living in this house. Several red flags screamed up to me. Something told me, do a title report. Go to data tree, pull it in, pull the title history. The house is not in his name. It's still in his mother's name. No affidavit, no transfer of death, nothing. So now, in the middle of a divorce, that they were going to already sell the property, which that's what they hired me for, now his mother's estate has to go into probate because the house has never been legally transferred. It's still in his mother's name, on top of the fact that community funds have been used to pay the mortgage, get things fixed and everything for several years. Several years. Luckily, because I had experience in trust estates, I did it for several years in California. I saw that and was like, hey, immediate red flag. Will we be able to get this fixed? Yes. Is it going to take longer? Yes, absolutely. So these are things you need to think about. Don't just assume because your parents passed away or whatever that the house automatically transfers you, especially if you're an only child. I know the proper questions to ask to potentially avoid these type of mistakes. And I also offer an additional service to my clients. I'll let you know the things that can happen if your property is not titled correctly and it's not held properly, to make sure that, one, for you, it's okay, because I know we're all trying to build a legacy. You don't want to make the mistake that your house doesn't transfer to your children.
In 2026, the financial landscape is different. Laws, circumstances, and individual situations vary, and outcomes aren't guaranteed. A lot of men have become more cautious, protecting assets, structuring finances differently, and going into relationships with a much clearer understanding of risks.
I do not cook for my husband. I only cook for my children. My husband will be making his own breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Number 2, I do not help him pay any bills. So if he is short on the rent, on utilities, or anything like that, it is not my problem. I will not be helping him out. His job is to provide for his family. So I am not financially contributing to any of the bills. Number 3, I do not do his laundry. I have my own laundry and my children's laundry to do, so he could do his own. I won't help him put it away. I won't help him fold anything. That's his responsibility. I've been crying all morning long. My husband told me that I needed to pack my stuff and get the fuck out. So I have my bag, and I'm about to start packing. I literally have more. So I don't know what I'm gonna do.
There's been a lot of men on my page saying that women leave marriages for money. They just want to take all my money. But my question is they already had the money. So why isn't it that they don't want the money and you? Yeah, I think we might need to unpack that one a little bit.
So when someone enters a divorce expecting a jackpot, they're often ignoring one key detail. The system isn't built to reward assumptions. And that's where things start to fall apart.
Well, the divorce is going to end us. We're not going to be together anymore, and I want a fresh start. He will want a fresh start, and I want the house sold.
Because you want the money, right?
Not necessarily, no.
Now, in your income and expense statement, it is $3,912.46 is what your income is. But again, you're making $22 an hour.
Right.
So that's $45,000 and some change a year, correct? $45,760 a year.
Yes.
So you divide that out, and I divided by 52 weeks, and that's $3,813.
Okay.
And do you make any overtime or anything else?
No, we're not allowed overtime.
But this income that you've got up here, this monthly income before taxes, does not include the $687, the $780, or the $599, which is an additional $2,066. Isn't that correct?
If that's what you have on there.
Well, you don't have it on there. I added it up. But if you look down at the bottom, monthly court order child support, $687.
And also, it's not consistent. I mentioned why.
You didn't put that on. That's not included in this number, is it?
Is it not?
Is it or is it not? This is what you've introduced as your income, ma'am.
It's not introduced.
Okay.
Because it's not consistent. Because he doesn't have a job half the time. His father.
Well, see, I asked you when I called you on direct examination, I asked you what child support you get, and you know what your testimony was?
Yes, and I told you.
No, you just said I only get it for Sailor. You get $687.
Right.
You didn't mention that you got it for Bryson.
Because I hardly get it.
Well, when was the last time you got it?
Last
month.
No. Let me finish, please. I got it probably back in October of 2023.
Because once expectations are based on entitlement instead of reality, the outcome becomes unpredictable. Legal battles, financial divisions, and long-term consequences don't always line up with what someone imagined they'd get. There's also the lifestyle factor.
When I left my husband, I was only making like $16 an hour. And so that wasn't enough. And so I got myself into a lot of credit card debt because I moved into an apartment that I couldn't really afford, but I thought that someone else was going to be living with me in it. So that's
what do you mean? The ex?
No. Okay, so right after I got divorced, I got into a situation with somebody I knew from work. And
how quickly after the divorce?
Well, like immediately. It was like a rebound, right? I guess is what they would call it.
Okay.
And we
like
worked
the
together.
day after?
Maybe. Sort of. Yes.
Okay.
So I knew him, right? We worked together. That's how we met.
Well, wait, how long were you married?
Almost 5 years.
Did you guys ever have any kids?
Yes.
And you got with this person a day after?
Yes, but see what I thought he was like the love of my life.
A day after a divorce. Okay.
Yes.
Sure. And you thought he'd be living with you?
Yes.
So I came across this, and I had to say something because this is just ridiculous. Ex-wife of Dwayne Wade, basketball legend, basketball superstar, got $5 million in their divorce settlement, and he got custody of the kids. So she gets $5 million. Now, that's a divorce settlement. That $5 million is tax-free. And she's blown it all. And she's now holding up a sign saying, hey, I'm homeless. Dwayne Wade, I need your help. I'm sorry, ma'am, you're going to have to suffer. You're going to have to suffer. You're going to have to go and get a job, do something, because this is absolutely ridiculous. If you take $5 million and you put it in a money market fund, a mutual fund, you put it in the bank, something very conservative, you can live off of the interest very well for the rest of your life. Most people don't even get a chance to get $1 million at one time. She got $5 million tax-free, and you telling me you can't figure out a way to make that work for the rest of life? Come on now. Now, the question is, should Dwayne Wade help her? He has custody of the kids. The kids are not with her. So I say she needs to be a responsible adult and get up and go and make it happen. Because at the end of the day, when someone gives you that type of money and you blow it, it doesn't matter if they give you more money. You're going to blow that as well because you're not a good steward of money. Y'all let me know what you think in the comments.
If someone has been living comfortably on a shared income, splitting from that situation means adjusting fast. Rent, bills, and daily expenses suddenly become a solo responsibility. And if there's no solid financial foundation underneath, the drop can be steep.
So y'all want to know the scariest thing, and it's happening to me now, is being a female, married. I'm 37. I have 2 kids. They're 5 and 7. And I've been a stay-at-home mom for the past 10 plus years. I have no income. I have no money. I use my husband's credit card and I use my husband's money. And 2 weeks ago, he told me that he wants to move forward with divorce. Today, I literally, like, I use an American Express credit card for everything. It's got my name on it, but obviously he pays the bill. He told me he's gonna cut it off, and I gotta, like, move all the automatic payments and stop using it. And he said, you need to start using your own card now. What card? I don't have a card. That is my card. Terrifying. I mean, I feel like a little girl who needs their mommy because I don't know how to take care of myself. I don't, like, it's just terrifying. Terrifying.
My wife informed me that she wants a divorce, and I left just to
keep the peace.
Keep the peace, and I'm still here. The locks, I went back the next day and the locks were changed. And
I've been on the streets for about 30 years. And the reason why I become homeless is me and my wife got a crucial divorce.
Bad marriage, a broken heart and hit the streets.
Me and my wife getting a divorce. Family, 1 minute they want you to stay. A week go by, time to leave again. So it's just very difficult.
Well, I went through a bad divorce, lost everything I had, and moved out here to start over. Went to the doctors, and doctors took me out of work because I got rheumatoid arthritis and my liver's failing.
Lost my house, my kids, my car to a violent relationship.
A broken marriage.
Relationship.
Yeah. Lost it. I have emotional issues I couldn't deal with. Car broke down. Ran into the wrong people at the wrong time, got robbed. Lost pretty much everything.
Divorce. Then I rented a room, and then I came down with epilepsy and started having seizures, and the guy didn't want me there. And the next thing I know, I was in a assisted living house.
Got a job in a restaurant again, which I was an executive chef with Cheesecake Factory for a number of years, and then came back here and got a job. Got disabled where I couldn't work, and the lady I was with became a drug addict and spent a lot of money, and I became homeless after that.
That's the part people don't prepare for. Divorce isn't just about what you might receive. it's also about what you lose. Stability, shared expenses, long-term planning, all of that changes overnight. And if the expectation was that things would only improve financially, reality can hit hard.
So I'm ordering old fashions, dirty martinis, and these bars. Then we're going out to steak dinners with my coworkers, and we're ordering expensive bottles of wine. And I'm showing up at home wasted. And I start resenting my husband because he's just like any normal husband probably would do. Like, what are you doing coming home on a Tuesday night at 10:30, drunk out of your mind? Like, where were you? And so I realized then that I couldn't be married anymore. I was like, this is not going to work out for me because, and again, I'm spinning the truth. I'm telling my family, he's so controlling. I got to get out of this relationship. I mean, he's insecure. I'm just saying whatever I need to make my family be like, I mean, that doesn't sound anything like him, but like, I guess, yeah, if you're unhappy, go for it. Not go for it. Obviously, my family wasn't like, yeah, get divorced. But I mean, they were like, if it's going to make you happy, like, I guess you have to do what's going to make you happy.
And they don't know the real reason why. Yeah.
My mom will still say to this day, she watches my TikToks and she's like, I didn't know that you were hiding all this drinking from your ex, like my ex. And I was like, yeah, I know you didn't because I did whatever I could to make you not know. And my ex-husband would not tell my parents because he knew that would just piss me off. Yeah. So he protected me in a sense, which, beginning of December. And I get home and I'm like, I'm moving out. And he's just like, what? And I'm like, yep, I don't want to be married anymore. I want freedom. I feel like you're controlling me. You are always wondering where I am. Just like, yeah, of course he is. But I couldn't, it didn't make sense to me. And I'm experiencing this life of going out and not being tied down to anyone. And I'm like, this is what I missed all throughout my 20s because I was in a serious relationship from the moment I got out of college to now. And I'm 30 years old. And so I just so again, I'm justifying. I'm like, I just need a couple years of going out in New York, get it out of my system. I just need it out of my system. It's just all pent up and I definitely don't have a problem. It's just me needing to live life a little bit. So I move out. That divorce was heartbreaking for him. And for me, but I didn't experience the heartbreak until after I got sober because I drank through it all.
Meanwhile, many men are approaching relationships with a different mindset now. More awareness, more caution, and more focus on protecting what they've built. That shift reduces the chances of outcomes being as one-sided as they might have been perceived in the past. So when expectations don't match reality, the result can be extreme.
Am I the asshole for making my ex homeless? Disclaimer, this is not my story. I will list the source in the caption of this video. A while back, my wife and I got divorced, pretty amicably. Instead of selling our family home and splitting the money, I suggested that I take a loan using the house as collateral and buy myself another place. That way, she could continue to live there and our kids would inherit it eventually. She was reluctant, but eventually I convinced her. She had always been like that. Her reluctance to take any chance has always held me back many times. Anyways, this was a good plan and it worked for a while. Eventually, however, I ran into money trouble. Everything was more expensive than I thought. The fixer-upper I bought needed a lot of renovations, and I got deeper into debt. I would pay the bank, just not every month, sometimes less than the full amount due for the month. Eventually, the bank foreclosed on the house and it was sold to pay off the debt. It was a shock to everybody. The bank had sent some threatening letters, but as I was still paying, I didn't think they'd go that far. Anyways, my ex moved in with our youngest son. She is doing fine and is not in any way homeless, but she keeps complaining about losing the house and my kids have gone low contact with me. They all go out of their way to help their mom, while I only get scraps every now and then, even though I needed the help even more than her sometimes. I know I made a mistake, but it's not like I planned any of this. I lost a lot too, and even though I have the house I bought back then, it's nothing fancy and it's expensive to maintain. Besides, my ex got to live alone in the house for a couple of years rent-free. The last time we met, I told my kids they should show more gratitude for my part in raising them. And they should know that they have two parents, not just one. They're all doing pretty well financially. They said I'm an asshole for demanding anything from them after what I did to their mom. They say I should give her some money every month to compensate for some of the loss. While I do earn more than her, I have expenses too. And it's not like she needs it. Really, she's living rent-free with our son, and our son is pretty well off, so he won't be kicking her out. I'll admit, my plan didn't work out like how I thought, and it caused her some loss. But am I really such an asshole for expecting my kids to help me too? I mean, they helped my ex.
From thinking you're about to upgrade your life, to realizing you're starting over with less than you anticipated. It's not about revenge or punishment. It's about miscalculating the situation.
So hard to talk right now. Situation's so hard. I'm just trying to relax. I tried to fix it after 3 days with my husband. And he's just like, no, you can't, you know? Like, I'm done with you. Today he keeps reiterating, like, through text message, like, we can be brother and sister in Christ. Sorry, this couldn't work out. So I came to live with my family, but they're hopping from place to place because they don't have a place. 7 days here, 7 days there. It's the hardest situation. I'm about to go through a divorce. My husband not being there for me, and he knows the situation my family's in. Which is one argument that we had before I left the house, because he said if your family loses their house, then they can stay here. But once it happened, I asked him and he said no. Now I'm in this situation with them because he doesn't want me back. I don't know. I just got a new job. And he said he's done helping me. He's done paying my bills on March 15th. So it's like helping my family, trying to pay my bills, not having a house, moving every freaking 7 to 14 days from place to place with the company my mom works for. Because it's like they have vacation houses, but it's just the most humiliating, degrading, low position ever. And just to know that like I'm married and like my husband just doesn't care and isn't helping, doesn't want me. Like I left the house because you threatened to call the cops on me when I wasn't even yelling at you. I don't know what's going on in my life. I'm over it. I'm just like, what is happening? I'm so tired of this. I'm so tired of struggle and pain.
And in 2026, miscalculations in something as serious as finances and relationships can have very real consequences. Because in the end, expecting a reward without a foundation to support it is a risky bet. And sometimes that bet doesn't pay off at all.
Men stop playing by the rules. And now everyone's freaking out. Let's break down why silence has become the loudest move.